All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, I want you to completely rethink how you view property ownership. Most people just assume that a single stamped piece of paper, like a deed, is absolute, undeniable proof that you own a property. But guess what? It's really not. Property ownership isn't proven by just one document sitting in a drawer. It's actually proven by an investigative story, an unbroken historical sequence that we are going to decode today. In this explainer, we're going to learn exactly how to trace ownership history through the public record. So get ready, because today, you are the title detective. Here's our official docket for today's investigation. We are going to cover Section 1, what is a chain of title? Section 2, title versus mortgage assignments. Section 3, how to search the record. And finally, Section 4, defects and broken chains. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1. What exactly is a chain of title? Let's break down this definition. A chain of title is the historical record of ownership transfers for specific property. Basically, it's the literal story of how title moved from one person or one entity to another over time. Now, this is absolutely crucial to grasp. Title is never proven by emotion. It is not proven by who currently has physical possession of the land, it's not proven by family folklore, and it's definitely not proven by a screenshot on your phone. It has to be systematically traced. A single deed, that's merely one link. The chain is the entire sequence of those links, and our job as detectives is to figure out if that sequence logically holds together. And this brings us to the core connection rule. Think of actual physical chain links clicking into place. The person receiving the property, we call them the grantee, in one deed has to logically become the person giving the property, the grantor, in the very next deed. So check out this sequence. John Adams conveys to Mary Brown, click. Then Mary Brown conveys to Robert Clark, click. Robert Clark conveys to Delta Holdings LLC, who then conveys to Angela Rivera. Angela is the current record owner. It connects perfectly. Mary received it, then Mary gave it. Robert received it, then Robert gave it. When it works, it is a beautiful, logical flow. But real records are often super messy, which is exactly why we have to investigate. Moving right along to Section 2, title versus mortgage assignments. We've got to clear up a major area of confusion before we go any further. Now, what's really interesting about this is the complete split between the two tracks. Novice investigators mess this up all the time, so you have to keep these strictly separate. The ownership track, that's your chain of title. It tracks deeds. It basically asks who owned the property and who transferred it. But on the other side, you have the security track, or the chain of mortgage assignments. This tracks the transfer of a security interest or enforcement rights. So why does this matter so much? Because a homeowner can absolutely hold full title to their house while their mortgage is being assigned from one bank to another in the background. A mortgage assignment does not transfer ownership of the house the way a deed does. Confusing the title track with the mortgage track creates terrible legal arguments, so remember to keep them separated. All right, Section 3. Now that we know what we're looking for, let's roll up our sleeves and talk about how to actually search the public record. Every good title detective begins with the backward search. This is the exact method used to trace how the current owner got their title. Step 1, you identify the current record owner. Step 2, pull their vesting deed. That's the specific document that officially placed them into title. Step 3 is where the real magic happens. You take the grantor from that deed and you search them as a grantee to see how they originally acquired the property. Then, Step 4, you just rinse and repeat that process going backwards. While you do this, you're constantly comparing legal descriptions to make sure they match perfectly, and noting any liens or court orders you spot along the way. If you're just starting out as a student, tracing back about 3 to 5 transfers is usually the sweet spot to get the hang of it. But wait, a backward search alone isn't going to solve our mystery. You also have to do a forward search. Once you've traced the title all the way back, you literally turn around and search forward in time. You have to ask yourself, what did each owner do during the exact period they held the title? Did they mortgage the property? Did a judgment attach to them? Did they transfer the property into a trust? Or worst case scenario, did they sign competing deeds to 2 totally different people? The forward search exposes all those hidden traps that a backward search might just skip right over. Now, to keep all of this information organized, the best tool in your arsenal is a chain of title table. When you put these links into a table, the clues just immediately jump out at you. Take a look at link number 3 right here. Marcus Hill conveyed the property to the Hill Family Trust via a quitclaim deed. Boom, massive red flag. That tells us right away that we need a trust review. If a trustee later tries to sell that property, we have to verify they actually have the authority to do so. Honestly, without a table like this, you're just swimming in a giant sea of disconnected documents. All right, Section 4, defects and broken chains. We know how the chains should look, But what happens when things go completely wrong? So what actually breaks a chain of title? I want you to consider the catastrophic consequences of a gap in the historical record. As a general rule, a person cannot transfer more property interest than they actually have. If a deed suddenly appears from someone who never received title, or an unauthorized transfer happens, the chain shatters. Just like that. The current owner's claim to the property becomes clouded, and any pending transactions will grind to an absolute halt. Let's quickly run through the usual suspects. We're talking about missing deeds, or wild deeds that fall completely outside the proper chain. You might uncover competing deeds, or bump into major headaches like incorrect legal descriptions, deceased grantors, probate gaps, unreleased liens, and entity authority problems. Seriously, any single one of these can entirely derail a real estate deal. Let's put those new detective skills to the test with investigation case number 1, the broken chain. Imagine you're reviewing a file, and a mysterious trust just appears out of thin air. Check out this timeline. The public records clearly show that Carmen Lopez owned the property individually. Okay, makes sense. But then, the very next recorded document is a deed from the Horizon Trust conveying the property to Daniel Rivera. Wait, what? Look at that glaring missing link right in the middle. There is absolutely zero record of a deed moving the property from Carmen Lopez into the Horizon Trust. The chain is completely broken.
As an investigator, this should be setting off massive alarm bells in your head. You have to start firing off questions. Was the deed into the trust misindexed by the county clerk? Was there maybe a probate case that transferred it? Was Carmen even the actual settler of this trust? And most importantly, is this deed from Horizon Trust just a wild deed or an entirely unauthorized transfer? Until you can definitively answer those questions, Daniel Rivera's title is highly, highly questionable.
Let's move on to investigation case number 2, the probate gap. Honestly, probate is one of the most common causes of title confusion out there, and it traps families all the time. Trace this timeline with me. In 1998, Robert Allen takes title to a property. Sadly, in 2019, Robert Allen passes away. Fast forward to 2024, and Robert's son decides he wants to sell the house, so he just signs a quitclaim deed directly to a new buyer. But here is the massive defect. When a record owner dies, the title doesn't just magically update in the county land records to the heirs' names. Nope, the son tried to sell the property without actually going through the proper legal process. And this perfectly captures why that's a problem. The son may absolutely be a blood heir, but that does not automatically prove he has the legal authority to transfer the property right then and there. Where's the probate case? Where are the letters of administration? Where's the executor's deed or the court order? Without those critical documents recorded in the chain, you have a massive probate gap. That 2024 quitclaim deed isn't worth the paper it's printed on until the estate authority is legally officially established. Finally, we have investigation case number 3, foreclosures. Now, a foreclosure deed requires its very own specialized deep dive review. Why? Because a foreclosure never ever happens in isolation. It forcibly changes the title story, and we have to be absolutely certain that the legal process behind it was flawless. So, when a foreclosure pops up in your chain, you have to run a rigorous checklist. Did the foreclosing party actually hold the security interest? Were the proper default notices sent out? Were all the state-mandated sale procedures followed to the letter, right down to the legal appointment of the trustee? Every single one of these elements must be verified to ensure the resulting foreclosure deed is actually valid. Well, we have covered some incredible ground today, from understanding the core connection of a chain to executing backward and forward searches and identifying the red flags that completely break a title. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question to ponder. If someone challenged the title to your home tomorrow, could your chain connect flawlessly all the way back? It's a pretty fascinating thought, isn't it? Property isn't just dirt and bricks. It is an unbroken story written in the public record. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the documents behind the deal.